Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Yasmin Gomes, and I am the marketing specialist at OmniClouds. OmniClouds is the leading provider of ICT as a service. Today, we are hosting a webinar in collaboration with our partner, MC3 Cloud. MC3 Cloud is a value-added distributor based in Mauritius, offering Microsoft Cloud solutions along with BitTitan, Mandarin Academy, migration and consulting services, and role-based trainings and certifications. We are presenting a webinar on SD-WAN Advantage by OmniClouds, presented by our very own Mustafa Raza, VP of Productions and Solutions, to showcase the various benefits and offerings that can be brought to the forefront. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into your chat box to your right, and I'll bring them up at the end of the presentation. And we will also have time for questions at the end. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to Mustafa.
Thank you, Yasmin. My name is Mustafa Raza. I'm Vice President Products and Solutions here in OmniClouds. So we'll start. I'll go directly to the agenda. So we'll be talking about OmniClouds and definitely the related product and services. And then we will focus on our core topic, which is benefits of our platform. And definitely it's a SD-WAN platform, but with the telco grid integrations. And then lately we were talking about industry solutions and the benefits around those verticals. So I'll start with the introduction. So we are a digital service provider. When I say digital service provider, so we are providing you the connectivities in different countries, and we are giving you some connectivity solutions or a reachability solutions to the cloud as well. So we have a global presence. So I'll talk about those global termination points later. When it comes to the advantage of OmniClouds, so what we are bringing on the table for you guys, that we have a telco grid SD-WAN implementation in our environment. So we have around 28 POPs where we have a ready SD-WAN gateways in those countries, and all the gateways are connected to our backbones, which can provide you the committed latencies and SLAs. We have partnerships with multiple regional telco operators. When we talk about Middle East, so we have partnership with the Middle East telco operators. Then we have some partnerships in Europe and then Africa as well. So we are covering Middle East and Africa region. When you talk about more benefits when it comes to commercial modeling, so I told you about the value add from the infrastructure side of OmniClouds. But when you talk about the commercial modeling of the product, so we can give you all these services on a pure OPEX model. So it will be a monthly spend instead of CapEx. You don't need to buy anything like a hardware or a software licenses or anything. It will be a complete monthly spend or a OPEX model solutions. As I explained earlier, guys, we already connected to all the cloud providers here in the region, as well as in Europe and US. So we have around like 1,600 private data centers, as I explained earlier. And then we have all the termination points access, dedicated access. Means that, for example, if I'm pointing out here that we have a 16 termination points for Azure, 16 locations. We have 45 locations of AWS and then Google. So for example, if you are going from Dubai to Office 365 workloads, so for the Middle East, we have those workloads in Amsterdam Econex, right? So we are connected directly to Amsterdam over express route. When you talk about Azure UAE, so we have direct connections to Azure Central, which is Abu Dhabi, and Azure North, which is Dubai. When you talk about AWS, so we have connectivity, direct connectivity to AWS Bahrain. Uh, if you want to connect to Europe from the Middle East, we also have backbones where you can connect to Europe termination points of Azure and AWS or Google or SoftLayer or Oracle with the committed latencies and SLAs. So these are the benefits we are bringing on the table for you guys. If you see here that you have some dots here in Kuwait, Bahrain, UAE, Saudi, Djibouti, Egypt, and then we are implementing in Africa as well. So we'll be having in South Africa because you know that Azure workloads are in South Africa, and then we will be implementing some of the POPs in Kenya and in Nigeria. And then in Europe, we have in London and multiple locations like Amsterdam and Frankfurt and all these locations. We are, a premium partner of Versa Networks here in the region for 2020. We were the best MSP. We have around 6,000 sites network on our platform right now. So we are operating with 6,000 edge devices, or you can say edge sites, not users, by the way, edge sites all around the world on our platform. And we have also a partnership with Dell specifically for the services. Okay, I'll go through some of the products which are available in OmniClouds. But before that, I want to explain you the architecture so that you can understand the architecture, and then we'll go through those products accordingly. So let me go to the architecture first. I hope you are a techno-commercial guy, so I will explain you in a very commercial language that okay, this is what. Okay, so it's a bit tricky architecture, but I'll explain you here. So when you typical IT organization, they have different sites, different branches, and then they have regional headquarters, and then they have data centers, and then they have global sites. Okay, so this is the typical organization. So for example, if I'll pick Nigeria, or if I'll pick Kenya, or if I'll pick London, or if I'll pick Dubai, most of the organizations have these type of uh, you know infrastructure. So they have branch network, then they have headquarters, regional offices, and most of the organizations, they are also moving their workloads from the data centers or from the headquarters to the cloud. So now it's a mix of workload distribution. So if you can see here that an organization can have a direct access to the public cloud providers, and then they have some workloads on SaaS. So they're also using some SaaS applications, some of the organizations. Then they have edges, and then they have headquarters, data centers, and they have global branches. Now, what we do, we tap all the use cases with our platform. So if you can see here that we have our gateways here, okay, with the MPLS and internet, and then from the edge sites, you guys are connected to my gateways in the respective country. So for example, if you're in Oman, if you're in Dubai, if you are in Saudi, if you are in Bahrain, or if you are in Kenya, if you are in London, so you guys will be connecting directly to our gateways, and from there we can give you uh, reachability to any of the site globally, any of the cloud provider, any of the SaaS provider. One thing, when I said that we have an integrated telco infrastructure here, so here at our POPs, for example, we have multiple local IP eyeballs. When you talk about gamers from Saudi, when you talk about some customers which are directly coming over the IP to our gateway from Saudi to UAE, for example, for Azure. So we have multiple telco grid IP streams in our data centers where we can we can encourage local eyeballs so that you can reach to our gateways in a very optimized manner. So we are also pairing with multiple exchanges. In London, we are pairing with London Internet Exchange. Here in Dubai, we are pairing with the Internet Exchange of UAE. So we have local eyeballs. So for example, if the customer is coming from Dubai, so either they are using Do Internet or a Etisalat Internet, right? And this is the beauty of the solutions. You can come to our gateway over the MPLS, or you can come to our gateway over the internet even. If you are in Qatar, if so, definitely Vodafone on Ooredoo, or if you are in Saudi, STC or Mobile. So we have a combination of IP streams in our network so that we can encourage the inbound connections from your side to our gateways. Now, this is overall architecture of our technology. Now, I'll definitely talk about some of the benefits around that. And then one more thing, because of the COVID environment these days, most of the users from the branches, from the edges here, they are moving to their homes. Okay, so they're working from home right now. I'm sitting somewhere and I'm accessing all my workloads from my home. So for example, if you see here that I have a headquarter back in Dubai, okay, and I have a data center in London, and I have a data center in Egypt. So I want to also access the safe internet. I want to also access some SaaS applications. I want to also connect to my public cloud providers' workloads. So all these things I can manage through the same platform. Means, for example, if you see here that this edge have a device, this branch have a device, this data center have a device, right? So you can enable the SaaS services on this device, and then from any mobile, from any iPad, from any Samsung pad, or from any desktop or laptop, you can we can give you a OmniClouds software which you can install on your laptop or on your desktop or iPads or mobiles, and then you can access to the respective workloads. As I said earlier, that the workloads are very distributed these days. So some of the workloads are on the SaaS. So it's mean you are using maybe Salesforce, right? Or maybe you are using um, your Office 365 workloads somewhere in Europe. And then you have a headquarter in Dubai, and then you have a data center in London, for example. So from this software, you can connect to any of the workload in a very optimized and secure manner. And definitely, if you have some queries, definitely will address those queries of yours in the end of the session. Okay, this is the typical SD-WAN, but as I explained you earlier, that we have a telco integration there. um, some of the benefits I can tell you here, that because this is a layer 7, we can go up to layer 7 from layer 3, right? So you can have a visibility on all the traffic, traffic patterns, what you have from the branches, from the data centers, from the cloud, right? So because it's a layer 3 to layer 7 visibility, so you can see and you can easily you know have a visibility what's going on your network. When you talk about SD-WAN, so there is a one benefit you always listen from the market, that it's a zero-touch provisioning. What does it mean? Because it's a software defined, so you can have those at your edge. You can have that solution at your hub center or data center or a headquarter, and then you can have the same image or a software in the cloud, and you can also have the same image on your laptops, mobiles, and desktops. So it's mean that you have a luxury to implement the software according to your needs. So for example, if you have a branch, definitely you need a CPE. So we have some white boxes from the multiple manufacturers. So you can host that software on that hardware where you can bundle multiple technologies there. So for example, if you want a LTE terminate on your device, so you can have a device which have an internal LTE. Oh, you want to bundle two LTEs, okay? So it's mean that you can have a device with the two LTEs. Then you can add broadband, you can add MPLS, right? So these all technologies you can bundle on the same device. um, on this in the same way you can do these things at your hub sites in the data centers as well. And then in the cloud, if you want to host those things in your cloud, definitely you can have a software then you can implement. Now these all benefits related to this technology. So you can bundle multiple technologies, uh, because it's a software defined, so you can manage from an orchestration layer. If you see here that we have a SD-WAN orchestration layer here, so that you can manage all your devices, all your edges, all your software images in the cloud, or at your servers, or at the CPs through that orchestration layer. When I say orchestration layer, it means it's a management layer, but even you can push the configurations from the management portal. Even you can create multiple templates according to your needs. So for example, if you're a bank and you're running a core banking application, so it's mean that core banking application is a priority for you. If you are a retail industry customer, so it means that you have a retail app, which is your business critical application. So you can implement application quality of services for those applications. And because it's a layer 7 thingy, so it's mean you can even um, you know, educate to the system that guys, this routing has to be done like that. And then you can play with the multiple internet bandwidths as well. Because if you see here right now, if you're using a MPLS, so the control is with the operator. But if you implement this technologies, the control will be with you. So you can play with the MPLS and internet. And even, for example, if you need a heavy pipes, maybe end of the month, right? So because of the salary calculations or maybe some data transfer, so even the control is with you, so you can play with the bandwidth pipes what you have over the internet. So for example, if your core banking application or a retail application, they want more pipes from one branch to another branch or from one branch to another headquarter, so you can play with the bandwidths. For example, you have a 50 meg tunnel between your headquarter and the branch, and then you can play with 100 if you want to hike up those pipes, right? So these are some of the benefits on a technology head. And then some of the benefits you can have operationally means that if there's one edge device goes down because of the hardware failure, so what you guys can do, you can replace the hardware and then you can push the configurations, and within 5 minutes your device will be up with the same configurations what you have previously. Why? Because the whole management is centralized, so you have different templates with the different configurations. And then if you want to implement as a HA, so a device can implement as a active. So this is some of the devices on the operation side of it. Okay, now when you talk about some of the benefits on the technology side, on the head end side, so you have a pure multi-tenancy approach with the complete right management. What does it mean? Means that if you are having a customer, and if you are not a customer, if you're a partner, so you can have your customers under your tenant. If I'm your MSP and you are back in Kenya, Egypt, or Nigeria, or London, or Dubai, or Kuwait, or Saudi, so you guys can manage your own customers through the same platform. So it's mean that on your tenant, you'll be having a root access, and your partners or your end customers, or if you are an end customer, so you can play with all these multi-tenancy. So it's mean that the data control, that the data plane will be with you guys with the complete right management system. There are two models commercially, by the way, in the region. So one is that you can implement this and then you can hand over to the customer. This is one model, and then customer needs to manage. So definitely you have to provide them the access accordingly. When you talk about managed services, so it's mean the access can be with you or access can be with the customer. So it's mean that you guys are responsible to manage their data traffic or a network traffic. So then you both can have access on the tenant as a power user or as a admin, whatever. But there are so much flexibility in the system so that you can play around with the multiple scenarios here. So if you see here on the slide, so you have operators, partner, and customers as well. Uh, when you talk about benefits, so what I done, I picked one of the use case of a construction company here. So they have hub sites, and then they have a clubbed type of internet and MPLS infrastructure, and then they are also accessing some SaaS applications, and then they have different branch offices, and they have a different data centers. So in 5 to 10 minutes, you can push all the templates to your all sites, and then you can provision a 50 or 100 sites in 1 hour from the same orchestration layer which I was talking about. And then you can also have a visibility what's going on your data traffic or a data plane. So, and you're bundling with multiple internet technologies. Like, for example, if you see here, so you have LTE, you have 4G, you have private LTE, you have MPLS, you have broadband. So you can club all the technologies under one umbrella, which is the OmniClouds platform. And then we talk about the cloud connectivity specifically, and I think this is the beauty of the platform here, that we are not, you cannot compare us with all the technology vendors like uh, Silver Peak or Huawei's or Juniper's or Cisco's. No, we have a telco grade integration with these products, and we have all the orchestration layer in our environment. So we are operating with 4 orchestration layer right now. So we have orchestration layer in London, we have orchestration layer in Egypt, we have an orchestration layer in UAE, and we have an orchestration layer in Djibouti, right? So now these orchestration layer, we can manage multiple regions, multiple countries. And then a bunch of gateways around the region. Means that you have gateway in Dubai, Bahrain, Saudi, Kuwait, Egypt, Djibouti, London, South Africa. So these gateways are in place, and they are backed with our MPLS with the SLAs and latencies. Now if you want to connect to the cloud, either it can be Azure, it can be AWS. So in Azure, we have express route. In AWS, we have a direct connect, which optimize your latency, which optimize your security and reliability and throughput. So in the customer have a data center or a branch here, and they are connecting to the gateway here, which is in the country. And from there, we are connected to all of the cloud providers and all the locations which I explained earlier. We have around 1,600 termination points around the world for multiple cloud providers. So from here to here, we are providing you the whole SLAs and latencies in a very cost optimized manner. Um, if you talk about express route in the region, so it's like around like $5,000 to $6,000. I'm giving you approx figures. So when you come to my platform, so we can optimize a 60 to 70% cost. Uh, so, and then definitely with the committed SLAs and latencies. So these are the cloud connectivity value added benefit from our side. And some of the SD-WAN functions we have a complete security stack on the edge So you can use a virtual firewall, which is an NG firewall. You can use UTM features. You can use all the advanced features. Either it can be at the edge, either it can be a headquarter or the data center, or even it can be at your cloud tenant as well. Because definitely our partner MC3, they are very expert into the cloud solutions and the cloud migrations and all these things. So definitely, if you have some tenants on the cloud, definitely we can help you, and we can consider that as your site. So if you have two sites, for example, in Nairobi, and you want to connect to South Africa Azure, so you can go from Nairobi to South Africa from the physical sites, and still you can have one site in the Azure over the express route. So these are the benefits what we have. I'll go back to quickly to my branch, OmniBranch. Now you can understand the products here. So for example, if you have 10 sites and you have one DR site and one primary site, so for me it's a 12 Omni branches. Okay, so I will charge you a monthly spend or a monthly fee, includes everything. So you can get all the features, all the services. You just need to tell me how much bandwidth you are playing with on the branch or on the headquarter, and what services you need on that branch. So for example, Mustafa, I need a firewall at 5 branches with the SD-WAN. So I'll charge you monthly a service with 5 OmniBranch with the security stack. Mustafa, I need only SD-WAN connectivity for 5 sites, remaining 5 sites. Okay, so SD-WAN monthly charge for those features. Okay, each site have 5 sites have 100 meg and 5 sites have 50 meg. So I'll charge you accordingly. And then I have a data center where I have a 500 meg, and I want to implement the new generation firewall, and I know I want to implement the UTM on headquarter or the regional office. So I can charge you for that monthly. There'll be no, um, no yani, for example, you're not responsible for anything. So we will be providing you the CPEs at your doorsteps. We'll be providing you the licenses. We'll be providing the whole managed services. We'll be providing you the project management around that. We'll be providing you the implementation. We will be providing you everything. So it's a complete cycle. And even if you want, we can manage for you as well. So this is a Omni branch, right? And then we have OmniRemote. As I explained earlier, if you recall this slide, which is specifically for the remote. So this is basically you are accessing your multiple distributed workloads from a remote location, right? So at this point of time, you don't need a device at your home. By the way, I can provide you the device as well, and I can provide you the software as well. So it's your choice that, okay, if you have laptops or iPads or mobiles, you can install the software on those such devices without, and you don't need device, for example. But if you have like a 5 or 10 users at your home and you want a better performance towards those workloads, so for example, if being a head of the family, so I'm accessing to the headquarter and the data centers of my company and the some of the SaaS. My kids are uh, accessing the YouTube over the same device, right? And my wife is having Netflix. So all the traffic patterns you can have from that device, visibility, and then even you can implement quality of service. So we have specific templates for those OmniRemote users. So back to the products. So OmniBranch and then OmniRemote, and then we have OmniConnect. OmniConnect means that if you have office workloads somewhere in Google, Brussels, somewhere in Amsterdam, Azure or AWS or London or Azure UAE or AWS Bahrain. So we can give you a direct dedicated connectivity towards those cloud providers. And as I explained you earlier, that we can optimize a 60 to 70% cost, and we can optimize the performance when it comes to security, when it comes to reliability, throughput. Okay, so this is then the last product we have, OmniSec, which is OmniCloud security. So it means that you can have a security stack at your hub site, at your branch site, and at your cloud site. So guys, this is all about. So if you have some questions, we are ready to answer you. If you have some queries around any of the topic, our teams are here to help you. Thank you very much, Yasmin.
Thank you all for attending and for your time. We are now ready to take a few questions. Okay, great. So we got a question. How is SD-WAN different from VPN? Is SD-WAN faster or better than VPN?
Very good question. I can reply with a comment that it's more than the VPN. Why? Because even it's basically they're using the IPsec protocols definitely, but if you see here that we are adding multiple facilities or the features on uh, these VPN things. Like for example, you are using VXLAN protocols, and if you see here on this slide, I'll show you something here. So it's kind of a VPN model, but what you are doing, you're having a complete security stack with those VPN services. So I hope it clarifies.
Okay, we have one more question from Hussam Barakat. What about the license for OmniSec?
Very good question. So, as I told you earlier, that um, we have a service, right? Instead of licensing over the CPE. If you see here, Hussam, you have a security stack, which is at the right side, upper right side, and then you have a SD-WAN features, and then you have multiple features down the line. Now, we provide you a service, a monthly service. So for example, if Osam comes to me and say, Mustafa, I need a 50 meg branch with the new generation firewall, and okay, so charge me how you will charge me, right? So I will not be charging you for the lessons. I will not be charging you for the CPEs. I'll be charging you as a service, okay, per month. Um, Mustafa, I have another site which is a headquarter, but here I want a SD-WAN bigger device which is 500 meg, which can support one, 1 gig or 2 gig, and I need a new generation firewall on that, and I need a UTM features as well on that. So I will charge Hussam a 500 meg with the firewall and with the UTM a service. So I'll give you some numbers here, approximately numbers. For example, I'm charging you a 50 meg for $150 per month, right? So it includes everything. So I hope it clarifies as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Mustafa, for your expert advice. Thank you all for your time.
Perfect. Okay.
We have one more question. What are the security features of the solution? Can we replace our firewall solution with this?
Very good. So we have 2 or 3 type of models here. So we can consider in a case study. Okay. Now you have one customer who have 10 sites, and then they are just implementing the new sites. Okay. So it's very easy that you can go and then you can implement and then you can charge accordingly. Then there is another customer who have 10 sites already, they already have some of the Fortinets or Palo Alto or checkpoints, and they are also wants to implement 5 more sites. Very good. So for those 5 more sites, you can have my NG firewall with the SD-WAN, and those Fortinets or Palo Alto, you can also have that image of Palo Alto or a Fortinet on my device, and then you can use your own license. So this is the second type of a scenario. The third type of a scenario where the customer says, okay, I'm going to renew my Fortinet licenses, but I don't want to continue with Fortinet. So can you replace me with the Fortinet? Yes. So all the configurations what you have when it comes to security, so I can move the all the configurations to my device, and then you can start using my device with the security. By the way, you don't need to buy anything like what you usually buy from Fortinet. You just give me a per month charge, which includes your security stack features and SD-WAN features. So if you see upper portion, these all are the security stack features what you can have, including uh, CGNAT, DOS protection, device authentication, IPsec, user and group authentications, URL filtering, web filtering, antivirus, IP-IDS, malware protection. All these features you can have in our security stack. I
That's
hope it.
That's super great. Thank you very much, Mustafa, for your expertise. Thank you all for attending. Your personalized certificates will be emailed to all the attendees, and we look forward to hosting you again for the next month. If you have any questions, you can see in the chat. You can send them to marketing@omniclouds.com. Have a good day, and wishing you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Yasmin.
Thank you, Mustafa. Goodbye.
I think someone is typing a question here. No, it's fine. Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hussam is just saying thank you. Thank you very much, Hussam. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Okay, guys, bye.